Hi Flosstube, it's Sam from Stitch Again Sam. Welcome back. Today is December 12th, 2023. This is Flosstube number something in the teens. I was last here a little over a month ago in early November, so it hasn't been too long. I do have a lot to share. Although November was a relatively busy month for us, I did really end up with a lot of stitching time. So I have and I stuck mostly to smaller things. So I have a lot of finishes to share and one whip. And then I did maybe buy some things over some Black Friday sales. So I have a little bit of haul. And I think I'm gonna leave, I don't have a tremendous amount of time today, so I'm gonna go through all of the cross stitching first. If I have time at the end, I might do a little bit of a personal update. If not, we'll just whatever, leave that for another time. And my plan is to do a whip parade plans kind of video, hopefully sometime before our Christmas break starts and I can get that posted. If not, it might be in early January. So let's just dive into the stitching, shall we? So like I said, I have one whip, and I do have some, there's some discussion about this one. And my one whip is the Dimensions Gold Collection. I always worry that you guys are seeing these backwards, but nobody cares. It's the Dimensions Gold Collection. These ornaments, what are they called? Christmas Village ornaments. Lots of people are stitching these. I initially saw it on Liz Matthews' channel that she was stitching them. I know that Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch's mom, Sissy, is stitching them. And that was sort of my, I saw them and I was like, those are cute. And I would kind of like to do them, but I held back. But what really convinced me, and I believe it was on Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch's video where her mom was showing these, and they were talking about, it's a nice, small, if you want something that is full coverage, but you don't want to bite off the big chunk of a large full coverage piece, it satisfies the itch a little bit. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do those. And if you've been around, you know, my relationship with Dimensions kits is a little fraught. So there are things about Dimensions kits that I personally don't particularly like. I don't find it enjoyable to stitch. So the blending of threads, sometimes it's a half stitch, sometimes it's a full stitch. Sometimes there's 2 strands or 3 strands or 4 strands, and having to keep track of all that. I realize that it adds some, dimension, I guess, is maybe the point, but I don't particularly enjoy it. Well, and sometimes the back. I think that the last pattern I did, the back stitching was just particularly difficult. It doesn't look as bad on these. So I'm hoping that that is true. So when I started this, I think I'm already realizing, oh no, I didn't forget it. So when I started this, my thought was I was going to use, they give you 18 count Aida, and I was going to use that. But instead of doing the half stitches, I was just going to do full crosses, 2 strands for everything. That was my plan. And I got about this far. I got a little bit nervous that I cut all the pieces. I cut the one big piece into 6 even pieces. I got a little nervous that I had started too low. So that's why I kind of came down this way. It would have been okay. There wasn't a lot of space at the bottom, but it would have been okay, especially for an ornament, and it comes to a point down there. So I think it would have been fine. But kind of like before, it's I'm not, I think that 1836 count is just not my sweet spot. So, because to me, 2 strands is always a little bit too much. 1 strand isn't quite enough. So I was finding it difficult. Literally my finger was hurting, stitching these full stitches up on top and here. And I always feel like my stitches look really messy when I'm doing 2 strands over 1, on an 18 count like this. And so I mean, truly, I just wasn't enjoying it like I was hoping that I was going to enjoy it. So I started thinking, well, okay, do I have options here? Yes, I do. I could restart it on a 16 count with 2 strands, which I enjoy, but I really didn't want them to be any bigger than this. And they do give you a pattern in the kit to cut, like how to cut the shapes for the ornaments and the like backing board and everything that you would need. So then it wouldn't fit that pattern anymore. So I was like, oh, so I think I stuck with it a little longer. And then I was like, this is silly. I have 6 of these to stitch. I don't like this. Like, I need to try something else. And so in my Black Friday shopping extravaganza, I had purchased some 20 count Aida because I am finding that I do like to stitch on 40, and I've stitched a little bit on 46 count, and I like it with 1 strand. And I love the 1 strand because it looks very neat. And so I thought, okay, if I did this on 20 count, what are the problems, right? So the problems are, again, it's not gonna fit the pattern for finishing. I think I can get past that. I'm not terribly worried about that. There are some places in the pattern where there are French knots called for, which I don't particularly like doing. I didn't really intend to do them. My last dimensions piece, I just left them off entirely. This one, I had thought about beads on the last one, and I was just like, well, forget it. It doesn't need it, and I just left it off. These, I'm like, okay, it's Christmas ornament. Beads would be cute. Like, I'm gonna use beads when I was doing this 18 count. So I'm not sure if even like a petite seed bead is going to be too big for some of these on a 20 count, but we'll give it a try. And again, worst case scenario, there are things like up in the sky, there are little, I don't know if you can see them, but there are little white dots that are like, I assume snowflakes. I would think those are snowflakes, not stars. I guess it could be either. So those are some. On some of these little like recent things, there are things that look like berries. On the barn, there are some lights that are yellow. So again, when I look at it, I think, okay, if they just weren't there, I don't think it really badly diminishes the pattern. And I even think those snowflakes, they could probably be a little bit bigger. So maybe not an insurmountable problem. The biggest issue are the blended threads, because if I'm stitching with 1 strand, I cannot really blend 2 threads. I don't like blending threads, so not having to blend threads would be nice. So when I looked at the pattern and I looked at the list of floss colors, there are only 5 that are blended. And they are like, there's a color in the sky, there's a color in the trees. I think there was a color that was in sort of like the ground underneath, like one of those yellow colors, the red of the barn, the main red color of the barn. And I think a brownish color. And so here's what I'm thinking. In the entire world of floss, there has to be colors similar to those colors without having to blend it. So I thought, I bet I could find something that would work just as a single strand and not have to blend. And then it's like win-win. I don't have to blend and I can do it with 1 strand. So I decided to give it a go. So here's where I'm at. not taking this out. So I have this whole giant piece I haven't cut down yet, but this is where I am at so far. I am enjoying this so much more than I was stitching at 18 count with 2 strands. It looks so, and you know, I don't know what you can tell on camera, but it looks so much neater. It's so much easier to stitch. I just, and I like the fact that for an ornament, it's going to be a little bit smaller. So all good things. So what I am doing is stitching everything, leaving out the blended thread colors for now. So you'll see there's some things missing in the sky. Obviously the bulk of that barn is missing. and there's some things missing in the trees. So what I'm going to do is stitch everything except the blended thread colors first. And then I think I might take those strands and stitch a little bit, like I'll probably just take my leftover, like one of these pieces, and stitch it as it was intended to be stitched, whether it's a full or half cross, just like a little swatch. And then see what I can find to match it. And maybe like an over-dyed thread would be a good choice, and give a little bit, like not too much variegation, but maybe just a little bit, because I do think that one of these colors on here is blended, and it almost does give the look of something that is variegated, because sometimes one color's on top, sometimes the other. So maybe a variegated thread. I don't know, I'm not gonna worry too much about it. But I just thought if I have everything else done, then I'll be able to see if it really feels like it looks right when I get to it. But so if you have ever shied away from a dimensions kit because of that, all that crazy like half cross stitch blending shenanigans, or you don't like stitching on like that count of fabric, here's an option. So I will keep you posted, and if this works out, when I'm done, I will happily share like my floss replacements. I intend to use the kit floss for everything that is just a solid color. That's what I've done so far. And this is just a 20 count Witchell Ada that I purchased. So loving it, very happy. Oh, and this little baby nerd hoop was part of my haul too. It's perfect fit. Well, I might need to move it down a little bit, but it's pretty close to a perfect fit. Okay, so that's my whip. The only whip I have. Now we're going to get into finishes, of which there are many. And I think I did, even though November was a fairly busy month for our family, it was sort of like not always necessarily busy for me. It was other people in our family. So I think I did end up with more time to stitch than I normally have, which is why there is so much here. So the last time we were together in November, I was working on this Colors of Autumn, and it is now complete. And this is an Emma Congdon pattern available on her Etsy shop, Stitchrovia, or it was in an issue of Cross Stitcher magazine that I don't remember which one, but I think it could be found. And this is just stitched on a 16 count white Ada. So this completes this series for me. So I have these all done. Oh, I did forget. Okay, well, that's okay. I found a frame that I might use for these. What I had thought about doing as far as finishing these was doing like a floating frame. So I believe it was Carolyn. I don't think it was Anna. I think it's Carolyn from Curious Crafters, which is a favorite channel of mine. They have a special episode, sort of Flosstube, where she purchased a floating frame from a company you could buy online, and like you give them your dimensions and they create like a custom size floating frame for you. So floating frame meaning like, I don't know if you can see it, but like we have pictures in our living room that are that way, right? So it's like a wooden frame, and then the canvas is sort of like inset into it and like level with it. And there's a very tiny gap like all the way around. You've probably seen things framed that way, but so she used it to stitch or to frame a stitched piece, and it looked great. And I immediately thought of this because I think that you could easily use, you know, whether it's a washer and magnet kind of thing, but you could do something to make it like something you could change out for the seasons like this. And so when I saw that video, it was my immediate thought of like, oh, I want to try to do that. I did look at the website that she purchased hers from. It's not unreasonable. Like, it's not cheap, but I don't, you know, for custom sized and made frame, it's not unreasonable, but it was still a little more than I wanted to spend. And I did think to myself, like, my husband and I are pretty like DIY savvy, so we have a lot of tools. And I'm like, I bet we could make one of those, was my initial thought. But then I was in Joann Fabrics. I don't really remember what I was looking for, but it wasn't this. But they actually sell frames that are made for a canvas to go in, and then it's a floating frame for standard size canvases. So they had a black and a natural color, and I think 11 by 14 will fit this. I haven't really tried it out, but I think it will work. It's probably going to be a little bit more of a margin than I planned on, but that's okay. So I might try those first. Sorry, I forgot to bring them over here, but if it works out, then I will share otherwise. But that now completes that whole series. So I'm pretty happy about that. All right, then, okay, so then I had to make a decision. What was I going to do next? And I had talked about, I think in my last video, looking at what was left on my WIPGO board, or just of my WIPs in general, and thinking, okay, are there a few things that don't have a whole lot left to do that I could just finish up a few more WIPs before the end of the year, or I could do some ornaments. So I kind of have done both. So I really only had one remaining WIP left on my WIPGO board. Now, if you were here last time, you know I kind of retired or plan on restarting a few of those. So not counting those, and not counting some things I had, like I was going to fully finish something, and non-WIP things that were on my WIPGO board. Okay, so I had one WIP left, and so I thought, okay, let's just at least get our 5 days in on that WIP. But this became one of those, and I don't know if you're like this too, but I am sort of a person that if I get close enough on a WIP, even if it's, you know, if my goal is 5 days and I get to the 5 days, but I only need maybe a couple more and it's going to be done, I'm just going to see it through and finish it. So I finished it, and that is this. It is Be Kind to All That Live. Again, I hope you're seeing this the right direction. Be Kind to All That Live. And this again is an Emma Condon pattern. This is from her Cross Stitch for the Earth book. And I almost thought about giving up on this one. What I had done was for the most part the words and that tree. Like I had at least the brown like trunk part of that tree done. I don't know, maybe a few little bits of other things, but that was it. And I was kind of like, I don't know what I'm ever really gonna do with that. I'm really glad I finished it. I actually like this a lot more than I even expected to. And I do have a thought, because as I'm stitching it, it's in November, it's kind of fall, and I'm like, this has a fall vibe, like the color scheme of it is kind of fall, autumnal colors. And I have another one that I did that was Emma Condon that when you look at it, it's kind of spring. Like it has kind of a spring feeling. So I started thinking, they're all similar size. This might be another, like I could switch these out for the season, because I think I've talked about this before, but I don't have a lot of wall space in this house to hang things on. You can see this wall behind me here, but it's a big, like that's like a 14-foot wall. And so we have like large pieces on there. Putting cross stitch on it wouldn't look right. It's like, it's too big and too tall of a space. I don't have a whole lot of other space. So I like to do things where, I mean, it's kind of a joke because I have like none of this finished, but eventually when I actually like finish and frame these things, I would like to have maybe a few things that are out all the time, but mostly it would be things where I could switch it. And so I do have some plans of kind of making this part of a like seasonal series. Not that it was intended that way, but I'm going to make it that way. And this is just stitched on, I think it's a 16 count, like a natural. This was just something I purchased at like a big box store. So it's kind of a natural color fabric. It has those little like specks of color in it. But it's like any cream color would be a good background for that. So we finished that one. So then we started, here I go again with the we. Okay, then Then I had to finish my A Year of Celebration Seasons 2 from Hands On Design. I've been doing those one pattern each month in the month. So January and January, February and February, so on. So I had November and December left to do. So I did November, which is the turkeys. They're super cute. And these are just on a 32 count mushroom Lugana. I think I changed the color of the pumpkin pies. Well, all of the colors I did for these were sort of a mishmash of the called for colors, and then Kimberly Jolly has her set of colors that you can find on her Jolly Jabber blog. And I like really it just ended up like a mishmash. I don't know how else to describe it. And sometimes me just picking another color. So they're very random. So if you have some dying need to know what color I used, I did write them down so I could share it. But I know that the pumpkin pie, and I think it even had a second color in it, which I was like, why does that have, it's pumpkin pie. It's just a solid orange. I don't know, whatever. That's the only thing I really changed on there. So that one was done. And then I immediately just thought, let's just get December done, because I was excited about December because I think it's really cute with these little houses. And I did change colors, and I didn't really worry too much about all the colors of these have to go, because my intention is to display them individually, right? So one would be out at a time, not all of them together. So if the colors as a whole didn't all match, that really doesn't particularly matter to me. So I got December done. And then I was able to kind of put everything away from that and be done with it. Oh, Finn, don't do it. It's risky to do this on garbage day, but I think all of the garbage men have come, but if he barks, I'm sorry. Okay, so then that series was done and I was very happy about that. And then I was like, okay, let's start some ornaments now. And I have a long list of ornaments that I want to stitch. So I started out with, I hope these are gonna, I think they're showing okay. Okay, so I started out with this. I had already stitched, this was a series of 3. Again, it's hands-on design, and there are all these different flamingo patterns. And they make super cute ornaments. This was the only one I didn't have done. It's the flamingo all the way. The other 2 have already been finished. And I think this is the called for. It's a 32 count Icelandic blue linen. For the most part, I used the called for DMC, like the equivalent DMC colors. The only color I switched out was the actual color of the main color of the flamingo bodies. It was just a brighter pink than what I think it would have actually looked very cute in hindsight, but I just wanted something that was a little bit less bright. If you want to know what color it was, just leave a comment and I will tell you, but other than that, it was the same. So now I have to actually finish these. Okay, and make ornaments. And they actually, I don't think those will be like super big. So we have that one done. And then since I was in kind of a hands-on design mood, I pulled out all of the I had bought the Polar Plunge series. Let's see if I can remember the order that these went in, because I stitched them all. I think it started with, oh no, it starts with the polar bear. So the polar bear is first. So so here's what made me decide to do these. I was looking through fabric that I had, and this fabric is a fabric flare, and it's just called Snow on Aqua. And I had ordered this a while ago when I was just trying to find something that had like a printed snowy look. And this was not the winner for the project that I was particularly using, because I didn't really like the modeling in it. I wanted something that was a little bit more solid, but just with the dots. So I used what is that? Well, whatever, it doesn't matter. I didn't use this one. So I just kind of had this piece hanging out, and I did not buy the fabric that was called for this series, but I thought, I think that might work. And I think that it does. It's a little bit lighter of a blue. I was worried about the white, but I think the white is okay. I think you lose it a little bit on these branches. I don't know if you can even see. There's like white on those. I guess it's supposed to be like snow on the branches. I thought about going back and restitching them as green, which I think would have been really cute. I mean, they're not finished yet, and there's not a lot of them, so I'm not saying I might not go back and do it, but then there's also that point where you just go, but now it's done and I don't have to worry about it, so I don't know if I want to do it. Pardon me for the notifications. So I think it's fine. And up close, they look fine. And like, cause the polar bear is so big, it looks good. And they're cute. And now I've used this fabric, and I don't know that I would have ever used it for something else, but I feel like with this style of pattern and being an ornament, I think it works and it looks really cute. So I got the polar bear done. Then came, okay, it doesn't really matter if I have these in order, right? Nobody cares. We'll just say then came Whale Hello. No, it wasn't this one, but okay. Whale Hello There. He turned out super cute. And then we'll say Wally the Walrus. Cute. And okay, so color-wise, well, let's see. There were a few of these where I had purchased that Field of Greens color, which was the color that was kind of released with these, I think. And Key Largo, there were a number of the colors that I already had, the called for colors, which I think are Colored Cotton. This aqua color is not the called for color, and that navy is not. I picked something else. I think the navy's wavy navy, but I made a few substitutions on things. And there were a couple where I used the DMC. So whatever, it's a mishmash. Again, if you're dying to know, just ask and I will tell you. But so we have Wally the Walrus, the Penguin Pair is done. And these for the most part took me 2 days each of stitching to finish them. And kind of once you get in the groove, there are certain things that are the same, like there's another star or there's those little branches and they're the same. So it's relatively easy to get through. Puffin Party, which I really liked this one. I was super excited. This is the only one that took me an extra day because I kept making mistakes on it and they were mistakes that I had to fix. So I ended up having to frog quite a bit because if it's small and nobody's gonna notice, I usually just leave it. But I couldn't on these. So that one, and then the N is for Narwhal, which N is for Narwhal is the one where there's not a paper pattern for these. You get it directly from the website, and then the proceeds from this are donated to Special Olympics. So cute, cute, cute. And again, I did wavy navy. It was a different color. I think tartan plaid maybe or something is what was called for, but I switched that out. So these are all done. I did buy the finishing kit from Chantal's 141. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it because I think they're going to be really big. And I mean, it's not like I didn't know that looking at it, but I kind of thought they would be really cute finished similarly to how those flamingo ones are finished, where it's just like, it wouldn't have the backing on it. It would just be the size of the stitching. I had another kind of idea. We're gonna just wait and see what happens with these, but I have some thoughts about how those are gonna get finished. So those all got done. This is all in the month of November. It really does seem like a lot, right? Okay, and then one more thing. This was a kit that I purchased. I think this was part of my Black Friday haul too. But I wanted to make this for a friend of mine who is a pretty avid, I don't think she watches this, so she won't see it, but she's a pretty avid scuba diver. And so it's the little Octi kit from Mill Hill. And he's done, he just needs to get trimmed down and finished. He comes with a magnet. So I might actually make him a magnet that she could put like on her fridge or something. I don't know, or maybe there's something, I don't know, whatever. But the magnet's kind of small, so I'm not sure. Or we'll make him an ornament, but I have like a week and a half or 2 weeks, whatever, left to figure out what we're gonna do with him. But he's done. And I think I did everything pretty much as it was called for on here. Oh, I did, the fish were outlined in white, which I don't know, that looked weird. So I just outlined them in the dark gray. And then these green, I guess like seaweed parts, the back stitching was a much darker green, which kind of made it stand, like I want the octopus to be what stands out, so I just used the same color green. I think that's all I changed. There were some called for French knots again on his eyes and the fish eyes, and I just thought, well, we're just not gonna do them. So we didn't. So he's done. Okay, that's it. Okay, so that's all the stitching. I'm going to quickly go through some of the things I bought on Black Friday. Maybe not all of it. We're gonna see. I have a couple things in here that are gifts, so I can't show you that. Well, okay, and a couple things that aren't necessarily Black Friday. I can't show that. I did purchase some fabric from Megan. Georgia Girl Stitching. Okay, Georgia Girl Stitching, Megan. She occasionally does like stash selling on, she has, I think it's a specific Instagram account where she will post things. And she had posted this fabric, which is a color and cotton. It's called Margarita. It's 40 count. It's a pretty like light green color. And I was like, okay, I'll buy that from you. And then this was a, picture this plus, it's 32 count, but I don't know what, but it's just a like pale blue color. So thank you, Megan, for allowing me to purchase that from you. And then I did buy, I think this is the only other thing I bought that wasn't Black Friday stuff. This was on a Stash Unload group, and it is a Charlie Harper pattern. I don't want to take it out. Okay, there's the glare. And they are seashells, and they're very like modern looking seashells. Like, I love this pattern, and I think I'm going to stitch it just exactly as it is, although I might change up the color a little bit and make it a little bit less, I don't know. I kind of don't want to. I even like this quote, minimal realism, I call it, wildlife art without the fuss and feathers. I like it without the fuss and feathers. So we got that. Okay, then I'll show you some of the fabric because it's not particularly exciting, I guess. I don't know. I did buy a large, very large piece of 25 count white Lugana. I have a project specifically in mind for this. We're going to talk about that later. It is a Christmas project. I might start it maybe if I finish that other ornament before Christmas. I might start something on this, and I specifically wanted it to be big. We'll talk about that if it ever comes to fruition. So that, again, not terribly exciting. Fat Quarter Shop had like 20% off their whole site. So they had posted before about this black Monaco. I don't know. I just thought, let's give it a try. It's very cheap. And then with the extra 20% off, it is, I know it's very stiff. I've stitched things on white Monaco. I know how stiff it is. So we'll see. So I got a piece of that. I bought some 20, and again, I was sort of focused on this 20 count Ada idea. So I bought some vintage country mocha. I'm not going to take this out of the package, like, because they're very basic things. They're not pretty hand dyed things. So this is just vintage country mocha 20 count Ada. Bought that. Oh, there's no way that's going to stay. And then a 20 count white white petit point on beige. So it's just the white polka dot on beige. I might actually already have a piece of this. I realized after it came here, but that's okay. And again, yeah, that was 20 count. And then I bought this. I have to go back and look at my order. It's Fabric Flare. It's called White Polka Dot on Coconut. It's probably, oh no, it actually does show up. Okay, so it's like a beige color with these white polka dots on it. I like it. It's 14 count though. I'm surprised I would have bought something 14 count. This reminds me, I'm gonna leave this out so I go back and check my order, because once before they did send me the wrong count of a fabric that I ordered, but I might have actually inadvertently ordered it that way. I don't know, who knows? Ooh, or maybe I could use this for my other, how big is this? Okay, anyway, whatever. We'll figure out something to do with that. Okay, then I did buy, okay, so you saw my little tiny baby green nerd tube. I bought the big jumbo giant. This I think is the biggest size. I wish they were all this, I love this green color. I wish I had them all, but I have the like 2 sizes in between those in the purple color. I had the whole set of these in green in my cart, and I was like, don't be ridiculous, you don't need all of those. So at least now I have one of each size, but I wish that they were all green. Okay, let me see. I think, okay, let's go through what else was from Fat Quarter Shop maybe. Oh, okay, listen, I don't even remember where, because I did buy some stuff from 123 Stitch too, and it's all mixed together now. This would have come from 123 Stitch because it's Lizzie Kate. It was on sale. I thought those were cute, little. And I don't think I've ever seen these before. So I thought those were really cute. Sampler Claws is the name of the pattern. And I think these are the only other things I got from 123 Stitch. They had a couple of Mill Hill kits. I keep getting my hair stuck. Okay, Mill Hill kits that were on sale, and they were Santas. These are I think Jim Shore, right? Yeah, Jim Shore Greeting Santa. I'm kind of getting really into the Mill Hills. Because I realized I like doing the beading, and this one is Christmas Cheer Santa. They're cute, and they were on sale, so we bought them. And then I finally bought, this is an older Brenda Gervais chart, the Snowball. I had looked at this one for quite a while because they're, this whole series of these books are always really cute. And little like family photo ones were very cute, so I finally pulled the trigger on that one. And then I did make some purchases from Satsuma Streets. Her sale started earlier than Black Friday. There could be some gifts that I'm not going to share right now that were part of that. But I bought for myself this year's release, and I splurged and got the kits. Usually I just buy the PDFs and like do it myself, but I decided to splurge and get the kits. I'm showing you these in order from my least favorite to my most favorite. I think that there's nothing wrong with the penguin. He's just not my most favorite. So there's Cool Kid. Oh. These are 2 and 3 are almost tied. Lolly Claus, and I did just finish the Candy Claus. I probably actually didn't show you that. I just did the beading on him and finished him up. So she's ready to go. This Santa Cruiser, I'm sure you've seen these. Lots of people have either been stitching them that I've seen or have purchased them. Stitching Claws, and then my personal favorite of the 4, Calling Birds, because it's birds on a phone, and they're aqua and red, and pink, which is a favorite of mine. I'm sorry, there's lots of glare there, but I'm real tempted to stitch this one, like this year. We'll see what we have time for. Okay, so then everything else I think that I have here came from Fat Quarter Shop. This one, so it's over now, but for the month of November, Blackbird Designs patterns were on sale. I have been wanting specifically this pattern, and this used to, back in the day, this was sold on its own, and I've tried to catch it on like stash unload sites, and I never get it. But I really didn't want to buy this whole book because I'm like, there's not much else probably that I want to stitch in here. I just want this one, and it's like 30 bucks, and I don't want to spend that much for that pattern, but it's really cute. Now, I do kind of like this one, and I do kind of like the strawberry. So I might stitch a couple things out of here, but they were 20% off. Blackbird Designs were 20% off. So it was more like $20. So I was like, okay, if I at least stitch these 2 things, I wouldn't feel so bad about it. I mean, there are some other beautiful things in here, but they're samplers that have other people's names on them at times. And if you know me, that's not really my cup of tea. I mean, I don't know. I guess there's other pretty things in here. See, like this one is pretty. Yeah. I'm kind of feeling drawn to birds lately. I like that. Okay, so in hindsight, I might stitch more out of this book than I wanted, but this one sold out pretty quickly, and I kept putting the like notify me when it comes back in stock, and it kept coming back in stock, but I kept missing it. And it was literally right before I placed my order for my Black Friday order. No. This was a second order. Anyway, whatever. I got it, so I'm happy. All right, that was done. And then I also purchased 2 Prairie Schooler patterns. This one, I think maybe I saw someone stitching these. I don't remember who, but I love these trees that say the word Christmas. I hope you can kind of see that through the glare. I also kind of really like this one that is like a tree. There's a couple of these I like. I like the Santa, but I might stitch him not in tree shape. And there is also like a little pattern that says, oh Christmas tree, how true you stand unchanging. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna do that. Okay, but there are a number of patterns and they're all relatively cute. So I might do a few of those. And then this is one that I just kind of happened to see. I've never seen this one before, but it's for Birds and Berries. I don't know if there was a series of these because these to me are all, okay, there's so much glare you can't see. These are all to me very, I don't know, they seem wintry, but maybe they're really not. Like there's a cardinal, sorry for the crinkling. There's a cardinal, there's a chickadee, there's a bluebird and a red-winged blackbird. I really like those. Like I said, I've been on sort of this bird, like I want to stitch some birds. I'll probably start with the cardinal because it's my favorite. Oh, you know what? Oh, you guys, I did buy some online like digital patterns. We're not going to talk about those today because I bought Gerald from Kathy Barrick. And I was like, here's another bird that I want to buy. And I bought, yeah, well, okay, there's more. But we're not gonna worry about that. Okay, I got that. I did get this book came free if you spent a certain amount of money at Quarter Shop. Oh, here we go. It's all gonna fall. This is the book that the big Shine On sampler is in, this one. I probably won't stitch that. I don't know. Like it's kind of cute. And I've seen people stitch this in other colorways. I mean, I'm gonna hang on to it, and maybe there'll be some quilting things because I have it on good authority. And by good authority, I mean, I went to the local like sewing machine dealer in our area and bought a sewing machine for myself. So Santa's bringing it. So I have big plans of doing more actual sewing of some things I'm not going to start making quilts, but maybe like a table runner, definitely maybe some project bags. So my mom took my old sewing machine, which is in desperate need of like but she likes to sew. She sews some things for my daughter. And so she's always, you know, I'm always just giving it to her because quite honestly, I would never sew anything. I never was sewing anything anyway. So I'm like, okay, you like using my sewing machine. You can have it. And then I'll get myself a new one. And then maybe I'll feel, I don't know if I want to say guilty, but I'll feel like more inclined to actually sew some things on it. So I got that. Oh, where did these come from? These might have been 1, 2, 3 stitch. Okay, like I said, I don't know. I bought the Wee Santa 2022 because I like him. He's so cute. And I just kind of kept holding off and then I was like, nope, we're just gonna get it. And then I bought, this is Heart in Hand, Bird in the Hand Autumn. I had the rest of this series. I was just missing Autumn. So I picked that up while it was on sale. What is this? Oh, I missed, oh, here's some fabric I missed. Okay, here's another 20 count Ada charcoal. Wow, this is a lot. Okay, oh my God. And this is also 20 count Ada Fiber on a Whim hydrangea. This I purchased specifically to maybe restart my Satsuma Street Halloween cat on. I think that might work. It's a little more bluish purple, but I think, well, no, it's not even that. No, maybe it's more reddish purple, I guess. I think it'll work. We're gonna give that a try. If not, it'll be good for something. Okay, everything else that I have in here is actual fabric that I bought. I bought a whole bunch, and we're not gonna go through all of this, but I bought a bunch of, what do you call these? mini charm squares packs. They're all packed up, so we're not gonna go through those, but my intent is to make cute little patchwork project bags. So I would buy one mini charm kit and then like some yardage that went with it that I could use for the back, because I'm only gonna make one side of it, the patchwork cuteness. So I might have a whole bunch of that. And then I got like a little freebie, you know, hey, you spend enough, 2 orders where I spend enough money to get the freebie. That's okay, that's something. But there were some good things in there. Like this pack of, this is a regular charm pack. And they're kind of cute, sort of patriotic, because there's a lot of red, white, and blue, but there's also like gold and green. And so I thought if you divided these right, you could do something patriotic and something Christmassy with it. It's called Union Square by Minnick Simpson. That was cute and a good. And there were some other things in there too. We're not gonna go through it all. Okay, that's enough. I'm almost embarrassed by how much was there. And like, so then my mom is probably watching this going like, oh, you didn't need to buy anything. You have so much stuff. Because I don't have like, if you watch Stitch Bead is her name, Audrey Marine. I love her channel. It's a very good channel. I think I've mentioned it before. Her mom like goes and buys her stuff, and I'm always like, yeah, my mom will buy me things when it's a gift, like for Christmas. Like she'll get me craft things because she knows I like to get it, but she does not think I need any of it because I have way too much. And I mean, she's not wrong. So anyway, okay, that's haul. So plans. Okay, so till the remainder of this end of this year, we're either going to continue on ornaments or maybe start this other project that I mentioned earlier. You'll find out when I find out. Well, no, you won't. You'll find out the next time we're together. So that's it. I am like thinking through my plans for 2024 and like what I want to do. I have lots of thoughts about it, but I'm going to kind of talk through some of that if I do a whip parade video with that. And then I also thought about doing a finish parade video, but more in the style of like, here are photographs of the finishes, and you know, like I could just put on there who is the designer and like details of what I used to stitch it, instead of me sitting here face to face and like holding all the things up. Partly because maybe that would be easier to throw together, and also because there are a lot of things I finished. I'm very bad at posting things on Instagram, and one of the things I do want to try to be better about in the coming year is actually participating more in the community and posting more things on Instagram. So I kind of need to play a lot of catch up. So I need to photograph them anyway. And so I thought if I did that, I could then make a little video of the finishes too. We'll see. We'll see what actually, I don't know, gets done. But that is it. So like I said, I'm hoping that maybe you will see me maybe before the end of the year with the whip parade, if not early January. But I hope that whatever holidays you are celebrating this month, you are enjoying them. And if this is a month that's particularly difficult for you, like this is the first year we're spending these holidays without my grandmother, which is hard. So I understand that too. So I hope that you have the support that you need in your life to help you through these times if this is particularly difficult for you. And, you know, hopefully maybe stitching brings you some solace. So anyway, so yeah, that's it. The ends of these are always hard to make smooth, but thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks, bye.